say will be YouTube.
So I'm just going live on YouTube.
Okay, thank you.
Going live. Okay, Alana's just trying to get in, so. I just gotta.
Is she trying to get in the Zoom call or is she phoning?
Yeah, and I gotta,
Okay.
yeah, I gotta find the meeting ID and info and all that, so.
Right. Can we call to order and you can do the tech stuff in the background?
You do whatever you want. Oh, somebody's phoning in.
just-
Hold on.
I just know we're not recording yet either, so.
There you go.
There we go. So at 7:02, we can call to order. We do have some changes to the agenda this evening. Item 8.4 can be removed, which was the request for Movember Drive to Remember. It's been changed in such a way that it no longer needs a council approval. And we'll have to add item 13.3 under the in-camera items, which is also falls under CTV Act 23(3)C, the personnel information. Were there any other changes or comments on the agenda? Don't see any. All right, with that, I'll look for a mover, please.
Move.
Moved by Councillor Wood, seconded by Councillor McBride. Again, anything further on the agenda? Oh, sorry, I missed one. We're going to add item 4.1, the RCMP report. Stephanie will provide a update, and then as soon as we get that email, we'll send it out to council. And then if we have further questions, we can send them out to Constable Leduc or invite her to our next meeting. So with that addition, any further questions or comments? Do you accept that amendment? Our mover was Clarence. Accept, all right. So with that, we can call to a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Mayor Kulikowski, I believe Councillor Merrow is on the line now in Zoom.
Okay. Alana, if you do need to unmute yourself, I believe on Zoom it's #6 or *6. One of those should get you vocalized.
I think I can unmute her here. Oh, no, okay.
Okay. All right,
No, I
so with
can't.
that, we'll move to declarations of conflict of interest or pecuniary interest. Deputy Mayor McDonald.
I need to declare on 8.1 appointment of members to the lottery committee.
Okay, thank you. Any further declarations? I'm seeing none. All right, with that, we'll move on to the RCMP report. So I'll ask Acting Detachment Commander Leduc to take over. I'm sorry if I got your title wrong. I know that it's been a quick transition, so please take it away.
My apologies for not having the report out to everyone. There is a change. I am the acting detachment commander in Inuvik at the moment and for the next couple months here. That being said, I'll go over briefly the report for this month. When it comes to road safety, in October, the RCMP investigated 15 impaired driving occurrences. 4 people were charged out of those 15 occurrences. A really nice thing to see is that 3 out of 4 of those charges came from proactive police patrols. So members out on the road doing proactive check stops. 3 people were found to be over the legal limit and they were charged accordingly. Some in domestic violence category, we investigated 11 reports of domestic violence. That's not a big change from last year's numbers either, and it's pretty steady with what we regularly see. In terms of youth, again, due to COVID, it's really hard for us to get involved in the school due to their policies. However, we were able to give out 300 goodie bags with candy, coloring sheets, coloring books to kids all across the community. They were invited to come to the police station. They got a candy bag. We ran out and we ended up having to scrounge around to find a few more things to give out because we didn't want to leave anybody hanging. Some of the notable things for this month, you might have heard the RCMP did lay a homicide charge in connection with the death of a man in Inuvik from June. 38-year-old Michael Drescher of Inuvik was arrested and charged with murder in connection with that case. So that case involved the Northwest Territories Major Crimes Unit, Inuvik RCMP, the Forensic Lab, and Police Dog Services. Another notable occurrence is the youth responsible for the abandoned building fire on Cogmallet earlier in the year completed all their diversion. They were held accountable through their actions by having multiple meetings with the police, as well as creating a project around fire safety, which was shared with the mayor, the fire chief, and the school is going to use it in presentations in the future. When I look at other things, not a big change in occurrences. I guess you don't have the numbers, but the biggest one would be we saw almost a 50% increase in assault files that came to us. I'm not too sure what that could have caused such a big increase, but this month we saw 65 occurrences, and last year at this time we only saw 35. So that would be the biggest. Other than that, unless you have any questions for me, that would be what October looked like for the police.
Thank you. Were there any questions from council? I'm seeing, Councillor Barlock.
Yeah, not a question, just a big thank you to the RCMP detachment in town for your work with the kids at Halloween to give out all the bags. I thought it was a great idea and seemed to be very well received by the community. So thank you very much for that. The kind of public engagement is always very welcome.
Thank you.
All right. If there are no further questions, I will say thank you, and we'll chat again next month. Thanks, Steph. All right, with that, we'll move on to item 4.2, which is a presentation on behalf of Elgant for SAO Hood. Elgant is the local government administrators of the NWT. And I have this lovely piece of art that you can't see very well in the mirror, and a nice certificate to give to Grant. I do have a few words to say, so please bear with me. I'm happy to present SAO Grant Hood with the Local Government Administrator of the NWT's SAO of the Year Award for 2020. I thought here I would read part of the nomination letter that I submitted for SAO Hood. Grant's been at the forefront of each decision that has been made for the safety of our staff and residents since day one of the pandemic. Grant and his leadership team took the bull by the horns and came up with not only a plan for how to house people who were returning to mandatory isolation, but also how to check them in at the airport, get them from the airport to town, feed them, and keep them safe and secure. All of this while planning and developing procedures for all of these things. Grant was an essential part of the team that kept the town of Inuvik staff, management, and our residents safe and healthy. I do have a few words on behalf of Elgant. Here they say, please accept our congratulations for a very deserving SAO at the town of Inuvik, and Elgant is proud that you are also our president. Being successful in both organizations shows a lot of dedication, determination, and qualities of an excellent leader. So with that, I will say congratulations and thank you to SAO Hood for all of your hard work. These lovely gifts will be waiting for you on your desk when you get in.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's the end of my speech.
All right. With that, we can move on to public question period. I will ask SAO Hood, are there any questions this evening?
I did not receive any.
All right, thank you. So on to 6.1, adoption of the minutes of the October 26th and 28th, 2020 council meeting. May I have a mover of the minutes, please? Moved by Councillor Wood, seconded by Councillor Salatke. Questions and comments on the minutes? Seeing none. All right, with that, we can call to a vote. All in favor?
Yeah.
So moved, thank you. On to item 6.2, the minutes of the October 6th, 2020 Recreation Park and Library Advisory Committee meeting. We'll look for a mover of the minutes, please. Moved by Deputy Mayor McDonald.
I'll
And a
second.
seconder, seconded by Councillor McBride. Questions or comments on the minutes? I'm seeing none. All right, with that, we can call to a vote. All in favor?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you. So moved. Next, we have action items list. There have been some updates to the list, but if there are any questions from council, I'll entertain them now. Councillor Barlock.
Yeah, just with respect to number 3, did we find out what's happening down there on Duck Lake Park? Did someone go down and check that out?
SAO Hood, I think he has an update for us. Did we lose SAO Hood?
We lost him.
All right.
He didn't want to answer, I guess.
Well, I don't have a full update, but I can say that because our municipal enforcement is still in quarantine, there hasn't been a thorough investigation, although I know that there has been a partial investigation. Of course, SAO Hood would have a better answer, and there he is. So SAO Hood, the question was just for an update on item number 3, the tent-year bootleg park. If you're able to give that. And you are muted.
So at this time, we've taken a quick look. We are waiting for our municipal enforcement officer to come out of isolation to go and do some further investigation on what's happening down there.
Great, thank you. Councillor Salatke.
I really love the new action items list. It's really clear, but I'm just wondering about number 12 for the lease sent to warming shelter. I'm not seeing a timeline on when that will just be decided on, or if they are working on it or anything going on with that.
We've reminded them probably on 3 occasions, and I will send once they were in a bit of an upheaval. I'm just waiting for it to calm down there, and then we will send it back to them again to ask where it is to get it signed.
Okay, thank you.
Councillor Barlock.
Sorry, I just one more too. Just with respect to the tourism gateway sign, I see now the new date on that is August next year. Is that planned to be put up in the spring or something then? Like, why all the way till fall next year?
I think that's more of a conservative estimate. There is a possibility it may be even done this year. It's just a timing with getting the product so it could be manufactured. Blame it on COVID, whatever you want. So they missed getting it on the truck to come up before the road was closed. It should come up here soon after that. Now they may attempt to see if they can put it up in the winter. We're just going to wait and find out from them exactly what's going to go on. But August is probably a very, very conservative, because there may be some more groundwork that needs to be done around it that would have to wait until the ground is thawed a little bit better to be able to do some of the landscaping, so to speak. So that's probably why the August is there.
Okay, no, that makes sense. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further questions on the action items list?
Just very briefly, and it's not on the action items. I've
Councillor
lost
Wood,
my
thank you.
video, so hopefully I still have audio.
You do. We can hear you. And all we see is your name on your screen.
That's probably better looking anyway. Thank you.
All right, thank you. So with that, we can move on to new business, the appointment of members of the lottery committee. Deputy Mayor McDonald has conflict on this item, and he has left the video portion of our meeting. So I'll move the recommendation, and then we can discuss the item. So the recommendation is that Inuvik Town Council hereby appoints Kelsey McDonald, Margaret Miller, Jerome Gordon, Donovan Airy, Melba Mitchell, Paul McDonald, Krista Cudmore, and Bernice Furlong to the Lottery Committee for a 2-year term expiring on November 14, 2022. I will look for a mover, please. Moved by Councillor Barlak, seconded by Councillor Salatki. And I'll open it up to any questions from council, any comments.
Just got 8 names for 8 spots. Is that?
So it's not actually determined how many spots there
Okay.
are. It's basically if you're
Who's ever
interested,
interested.
you're in.
Okay. No, I just
So-
wanted to double check on that. So thank you.
And I think this group is a mixture of people who've been on it before, as well as a couple of new residents, or new members. So that should provide even more input into the decisions that are made by the committee. Any further questions? Seeing none. All right, with that, we can bring it to a vote. All in favor?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
So moved. Thank you. We'll ask Deputy Mayor McDonald to return. All right, so on to 8.2, the Town of Inuvik naming municipal facilities and parks policy, FP 008. You will have noticed this document is very different from last time. We did a lot of work on kind of shoring it all up. Thank you, as always, to Stephanie Sutton for her hard work in taking what I was putting forward as ideas and making it into an actual policy that makes some sense. So as with the other motion, we'll move to get this on the floor, and then we can discuss the item. So the recommendation is that Inuvik Town Council hereby adopts the Town of Inuvik naming municipal facilities and parks policy FP 008 as presented. I'll look for a mover, please. Moved by Councillor Barlak, seconded by Deputy Mayor McDonald. And I'll open the floor to discussion if there are any questions or comments from council. Councillor Barlak.
Can't leave anything left unsaid, right? No, I was going to say the document looks significantly beefed up from the last version we saw. So having a look through it, it looks and reads a lot better and clearer, I think, in some of the respects. So very good job. I think this looks really good. I was quite happy with the changes. So thanks for all the hard work on that.
No problem.
It's Alana here. Can I?
Oh, go ahead, Alana.
Sorry. 6.1, the name of a former mayor or councillor should be placed on the names reserved list within 1 year.
Yeah.
You're not saying that everybody's name goes on that, just if somebody's being nominated. Is that what that means?
I think it means that anyone who's served becomes eligible to be on the list. So
Okay,
yes,
because then
everyone's
later
name.
it says, that's a bit of a dilemma, because later if I'm reading it right, it basically says that the names chosen are taken as basically as they come up the list. So at some point you're going to have a real deadlock of former mayors and councillors on the list, which might not represent what the community wants.
Yeah, that is a change we can make if council thinks that either if that item should be removed or how to deal with that. I agree that you could end up, well, I mean, if we put everyone's list on everyone's name on the list tomorrow, going back to 1958, we're going to have quite a list to get through before we get to anybody who's newly added, right?
I think it would make more sense basically if somebody who's a mayor or councillor, if people in the community feel they should be nominated, and they're nominated just like everybody else.
Okay. I'm seeing a couple nodding heads. Councillor Wood.
I was just going to say I agree 100% with Councillor Merrill. I don't think councillors or former mayors should get special consideration. They should be the same as anybody else.
So with that suggestion then would just be to strike 6 and 6.1 then. Who was our mover here?
Yeah, and then just rename renumber the sections as appropriate. I was the mover, and I'm absolutely fine with that recommendation.
Okay. We do have another person on the line ending in 9422. Do we know who that is? Grant? Oh, maybe, oh no, James is there. SAO Hood, if you're speaking, I can't hear you. You're muted.
I'm not sure who it is.
Okay, and Alana, you're not muted. All right. So if you are the caller with the number ending 9422, can you please identify yourself? You need to push *6 to unmute yourself, or number 6. All right, Grant, can you remove that person from the room?
Yeah, let me just find them here. Seven.
All right. Sorry for the delay. All right, so council does agree to remove item 6 and 6.1 and then renumber moving forward from there. Are there any other questions or comments on the policy? Deputy Mayor McDonald.
Just one question. I know prior to COVID, we had discussed the military base road renaming and did a vote on that. Will this will that be grandfathered in, or will they have to follow through on this?
No, so council has already passed that road naming after the
it's-
survey and everything was completed. So actually the only thing we're waiting on is an actual opportunity to do a ceremony to name the road itself. I'll have to check with administration on whether the road sign has been ordered. But that all is previous to this and actually was part of the reason for us to review this policy or to create this policy so that we do have a process that's the same for everyone.
Thank you.
All right, so with that, we'll call to a vote. All in favor of the recommendation with amendments?
Yes.
So moved, thank you. On to item 8.3, the amended Town of Inuvik holiday light up and decorating contest policy. Recommendation is that Inuvik Town Council hereby approve the amended holiday light up and decorating contest policy FM 015 as presented. I will look for a mover, please.
I'll move.
By Councillor Wood, seconded by Councillor McBride. And we'll open it up to conversation, questions or comments on the policy update.
Great idea.
Thank you, Councillor. Is that all the feedback? Councillor Miro? All right. With that,
I'm
we
back
can.
on.
Okay. With that, we can call to a vote. All in favor?
Yes.
Thank you. So we can move, we have removed item 8.4, which was previously in the agenda. And so we'll move on to 9.1 under the bylaws, the annual borrowing bylaw, municipal line of credit. We are on third and final reading. So recommendation is that Inuvik Town Council hereby gives third and final reading to bylaw 2659 BORR 19, a bylaw to provide for the borrowing of $1.5 million during 2021. I'll look for a mover, please.
I'll move.
Moved by Councillor McBride, seconded by Deputy Mayor McDonald. Questions or comments on the reading? Seeing none, all in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
So moved, thank you. To item 9.2, the annual borrowing bylaw. Again, we're on third reading of this bylaw. Recommendation is that Inuvik Town Council hereby gives third and final reading to bylaw 2658 BORR 20, a bylaw to provide for the borrowing of $250,000 during 2021. Look for a mover, please. Moved by Councillor Barlock, seconded by Councillor Wood. Questions or comments on the third reading? Seeing none, all in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
So moved, thank you. With that, we'll move on to our department head reports. So as usual, we'll do our reading first and then we'll go through the reports.
Sorry, can I back that up for 1 second? Did you just
Yes.
read 9.2?
Yes.
You said it as 250,000, not as 1.5 million.
That was 9.1, was the 1.5. They were just numbered reverse to the.
Okay, my apologies,
agenda, and then, yeah.
Thank you.
No problem. All right, so recommendation on the department head reports will be that Inuvik Town Council hereby adopts the following department head reports as presented. 10.1, the SAO's report, 10.2, the planning and development report, 10.3, the economic development and tourism report, 10.4, the public works report, 10.5, the community services report, and 10.6, the protective services report. I'll look for a mover of the reports, please. Moved by Deputy Mayor McDonald, seconded by Councillor Barlock. And now we can go through if there are any questions on the reports. We do have directors on the line as well as SAO Hood to answer what you may have. Councillor Barlock.
Thanks. I guess I'll just kick it off by saying our staff always do such a great job with the reports. They're very good. They're very informative. With respect to 10.2, just for my geography, the 2 fourplexes that got a demolition permit, those are the boarded up row houses towards the hospital side, right? So they are going to be demolished, and I see Housing Corp's the permit holder. So I'm assuming they've purchased those units and they're planning to rebuild in those areas.
That's part
have
of
any
that
units up?
RCMP housing project.
Oh, they're going to build a couple there as okay. I forgot about that location. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Anything further on the reports? Deputy Mayor McDonald?
I know it's been said before, but I just want to reiterate the small business week that Hannah and Louise have worked very hard at. I can see by the report and by them driving around speaking to the businesses, and they did stop in at mine as well, that they put their heart and soul into it. I wish there was more buy-in from the community, but every year they gain more and more. And so thank you to Ms. Chalice and her staff for a job well done and a very thorough report to follow.
Great, thank you. Councillor Barlock, did you have your hand up again?
I did, but I don't need to ask the question ahead.
Okay.
That's good. Thank you.
Okay, great. So is there anything further on the reports then? I see none. All right, with that, we can call to a vote. All in favor?
Yes.
Great,
Yes.
so moved. We can move on to item 11.1, the strategic priorities chart. My understanding was there was a request in October for an update on the administrative side of the chart, and then we will update our side. My understanding is that update is ongoing from administration. SAO Hood, did you want to add anything there?
Well, all the directors, like, we have gone through all of our areas and updated the best we can. The next step, either council can either approve this or review it, but the next step was then back to council with looking at their priorities, as we've actually accomplished a number of them. Of the 5 that you have there, I'd say 2 or 3 of them are now complete or in the process of being completed. So then it would be council would then update theirs, so that it's like a revolving door in some ways, because council will update theirs, and then obviously as the process, we have to update from an administration side to ensure your priorities are in our priorities.
Okay. And I'll just apologize here. I didn't realize the one in the package had been updated. Sorry. I will review it myself too, and then reach out to council to then we'll have to plan a meeting or something to discuss where we want to set our next priorities for the next year. Are there any other questions on the strategic priorities chart? Seeing none. All right. Council concerns this evening. I see no hands raised. All right. We do have in camera this evening, so we'll just take a couple minutes and end our YouTube stream.
We also need a motion to go in camera.
And a motion to go in camera, please. Moved by